Hey everyone, and welcome. Have you ever found yourself wondering, how can a child who speaks so clearly, who has all the words, still have such a hard time connecting with people? Well, today, we're going to dive into that very question and figure out what might be going on.
So, does this hit close to home? Maybe your child can talk your ear off about Minecraft or name every single planet, but when it comes to just chatting with another kid on the playground or joining in at a family get-together, something just doesn't click. If you've ever felt that little pang of confusion, trust me, you are so not alone in this.
All right, so let's dig into this gap, this space between speaking and truly connecting. Getting a handle on this difference is honestly the key to understanding the whole picture.
You know, think of it like this. Conversation is kind of like music. The words, they're just the notes. But what makes it a real song is the rhythm, the pauses, the volume, knowing when to come in with your part and when to listen. It's all those other things, the tone of voice, the look in someone's eyes, the back and forth, that make it a real connection.
So, it turns out this challenge actually has a name. It's called Social Communication Disorder, or SCD for short. Let's break down exactly what that means, because once you have the right words for something, it's a whole lot easier to figure out what to do next.
Now, the key thing to get here is that this isn't about having a good vocabulary or perfect grammar. A child with SCD might be an amazing reader or writer. The struggle is all about using that language in a social context, out there in the real world with other people.
This really breaks down into four main areas. First, just using language for social stuff like saying hi or asking to join a game. Second, knowing how to switch things up. You talk differently to a toddler than you do to your teacher, right? Third, there's the whole dance of conversation, like not interrupting and taking turns. And finally, getting the stuff that's not super literal, like sarcasm or when someone says they're on top of the world.
Okay, this is a big one. A question that comes up all the time is, wait, is this the same as autism? And the answer is, no, not exactly. As you can see, there's definitely some overlap. But the main difference is that a diagnosis of autism spectrum disorder also includes things like restricted interests or repetitive behaviors. SCD can, and often does, exist all on its own. It's a really important distinction.
And this leads to another huge point of confusion. You might be thinking, my kid is a total chatterbox. There's no way they have a communication disorder. And look, that makes perfect sense.
The answer? Absolutely. It really comes down to this. It's not about the quantity of words, but the quality of the back and forth. It's not just about talking, it's about interacting. Can they build a conversation with someone brick by brick, taking turns and responding to what the other person says? That's where the challenge often lies.
Okay, so if it's all about interaction, what does this actually look like day to day? Let's go over some of the key signs you might notice at home or that a teacher might see in the classroom.
You might see that conversations feel a little one-sided. Or maybe making and keeping friends just seems really, really hard. Perhaps your child kind of hovers on the edge of a group, wanting to join but not quite sure how. Or maybe they take jokes literally and get their feelings hurt, not realizing the other person was just kidding around. These are the kinds of patterns we're talking about.
And this is so important to remember. These aren't just quirks or personality flaws. We're talking about communication patterns. And the best part? These are skills that can be taught and improved with the right kind of help.
So if some of this is ringing a bell, you're probably wondering, okay, so what now? What do I do? The good news is there's a clear path to getting answers, and more importantly, getting support.
Think of the evaluation process as a team effort. It always starts with you, the parent, and your child's teachers. You're the experts on your child. Then a specialist will observe and interact with your child. They'll also make sure nothing else is going on. And in the end, it's not about getting a label. It's about getting a roadmap, a real practical plan to help your child with referrals to people who can make a real difference.
Which brings us to the most important part of all of this. What does help actually look like? What kind of difference can it make? Let's talk about the incredible impact that the right support can have.
I absolutely love this quote because it just hits the nail on the head. The goal is never to change a child's amazing, unique personality. It's about giving them more tools for their toolbox, expanding their options so they can share that awesome personality with the world.
So what are these tools? Well, it might look like fun, game-based therapy sessions to practice conversation. Or maybe a social skills group where kids can learn about reading facial expressions and body language together. At school, it could mean getting an IEP, which is just a fancy term for a personalized plan that gives your child specific support to help them thrive in the classroom.
And here's the question that's probably on a lot of your minds. It's the big one. Can a child just grow out of this? What does the future hold?
And the answer here is really, really hopeful. Because these are skills, they are absolutely things that can be learned and strengthened. With targeted support and practice, kids can make huge strides. They learn to navigate friendships, they build confidence, and they start to feel that incredible joy of being truly connected.
And at the end of the day, isn't that what it's all about? Every single child deserves to have the tools they need to connect with others and to feel that amazing, wonderful feeling of being truly, deeply understood.
So, I'll leave you with this to think about. If you're seeing that gap between your child's words and their world, just know that exploring support isn't about fixing something that's broken. It's about unlocking a door to a richer, more connected life for them. Thanks so much for joining me.